Hello, I'm CathyAnne. In the last lesson, I showed you how to access the taskbar, notification area, and task view. Today, I'm going to discuss the desktop, Start Menu and Taskbar settings, and give you a small test to gauge how much you've learned from the first 4 lessons in the Windows 11 with NVDA course. Let's start with the desktop. The desktop occupies most of the Windows desktop display. To focus on the Windows desktop, use 2 commands, Windows key D, Delta, or Windows key M, Mic. Windows key D, Delta, is a toggle. When you are focused in an application and press Windows key D, Delta, focus is moved straight to the desktop. Press Windows key D, Delta, a second time and focus returns to the last accessed application. When a command takes an action and reverses it, it's a toggle. Windows key D, Delta, is a toggle. Windows key M, Mic, moves focus to the desktop, but it's a single action command. You can't reverse the command with the same keystroke because it isn't a toggle. To reverse this command, add Shift. Shift reverses Windows navigation. Press Windows key Shift M, Mic, to return focus to the last accessed application. The desktop is a list box and contains icons. Icons are small graphics that represent locations on your computer or the internet. The desktop can't be placed in a plain list. It always has icons. Icon shortcuts can include applications, websites, folders, documents, email addresses, and more. Navigate the desktop in several ways. All 4 arrow keys, page up and page down, home and end, first letter navigation, or first several letter navigation. When navigating with first letter navigation, notice the circular navigation. Focus moves to each icon that starts with the letter and returns to the first icon. Windows navigation is circular. You can't get lost. Press Enter on an icon. The website, document, application, etc. opens. Press Alt F4 to close applications. To delete a desktop icon, focus on the desktop. Windows key D, Delta, or Windows key M, Mic. Navigate the desktop and select an icon you want to delete. Press the Delete key. The icon is deleted. Use the Windows application menu to manage the desktop. To open the desktop Windows application menu, remove selection from the selected icon. Select an icon and press Ctrl Spacebar. In Windows, Ctrl Spacebar toggles selection. When you remove selection from an icon, focus is placed on the Windows desktop. Open the Windows application menu. Windows application key or Shift F10, and let's discuss some of the desktop options. Press up and down arrow to navigate menu options. The following options are available. View. This is a submenu. Press Enter to open a submenu. Press Escape to close a submenu. Press up and down arrow to navigate submenu options. To enable an option, press Enter. The action is taken and the submenu closes. Return to the Windows application menu to continue managing the desktop. The options include large icons. Show large icons. This is nice for low vision students. You can also use the Windows keyboard accelerator, Ctrl-Shift-2 to change the desktop view to large icons. The active icon view is checked. Medium icons. Show medium icons. This is the default setting. You can also use the Windows keyboard accelerator, Ctrl-Shift-3 to change the desktop to medium icons. The active icon view is checked. Small icons. Show small icons. You can also use the Windows keyboard accelerator Control-Shift number row 4 to change the desktop view to small icons. The active icon view is checked. Auto-arrange icons. When this option is selected, Windows auto-arranges the desktop icons. If someone tries to drag an icon to another location using the mouse, Windows ignores the action. Align icons to grid. When this option is selected, desktop icons are aligned on an invisible grid so they don't overlap. Show desktop icons. Toggle this option on or off to hide or display your desktop icons. When this option is checked or enabled, the desktop icons are visible on the screen. When this option is unchecked or disabled, the desktop icons are hidden from view. Activate this option again to show the desktop icons. Sort by. This is a submenu. Interact with this submenu the same way you did the View submenu. Press Enter to activate an option. The action is taken and the menu closes. Return to the menu to continue configuration. Sort by options include name, size, item type, or date modified. Refresh. Refresh the desktop display. If you have added or deleted icons, refresh the display to align and sort them in the specified order. Undo delete. If you have recently deleted an icon, use this option to restore the last deletion. New. This is a submenu through which you can add items to the desktop. More on this in another lesson. Display settings. Open Display Settings in the Windows Settings window. Personalize. Open Personalize Settings in the Windows Settings window. Open in Terminal. This opens a window with a command line interface. Select a view and how your icons are sorted. Using the Windows Application menu, you can manage the desktop display. Next, let's discuss Start Menu settings. There are a variety of Start Menu customizations. Configure the Start Menu in Start Menu Settings. You can return to these settings and fine-tune them at any time. Let's discuss Start Menu settings. Open Start Settings in the Windows Start menu. Open the Start menu, Windows key or Control-Escape. Type Start Settings. Focus is placed on the Start Settings search result. Press Enter to open the Settings window. Focus is placed in an edit box at the top of the window. Beneath the edit box is a list of property sheets. Focus is already on the Start Menu property sheet. Press Tab and Shift Tab to navigate Start Menu options. Configure the following. A set of radio buttons configures the Start Menu layout. Navigate to the More Pins radio button. Press up and down arrow to navigate radio buttons. Press spacebar to select a radio button. When a radio button is selected, the rest are unselected. Choose from More Pins, Show More Pinned Applications. Pinned applications are beneath the Search Edit box. Default, the default layout with a balance of pinned applications and recommended documents. More recommended documents. Show more recommended documents at the bottom of the Start menu. Press Tab to navigate the remaining Start menu options and configure the following. Show recently added apps. This is a button. Recently installed applications are displayed at the top of the All Apps list. Press spacebar to toggle the button on and off. Show most used apps. This is a button. Show the apps you use most at the top of the All Apps list. Press spacebar to toggle the button on and off. Show recently opened items in Start, Jump Lists, and File Explorer. This is a button. When this button is on, recently accessed documents and locations are shown in Windows Jump Lists. Press spacebar to toggle the button on and off. Folders. Select which folders appear on the Start Menu toolbar preceding the Power Options button. Press spacebar to open a list of folders you can add to the Start menu. Press Tab and Shift-Tab to select folders. Press spacebar to toggle the buttons on and off. Options include Settings, File Explorer, Documents, Downloads, Music, Pictures, Videos, Network, and Personal Folder. After configuring Start settings, close Windows Settings with Alt F4. The Start menu is configured. To access the Start menu folders, open the Start menu, Windows key or Control Escape, and press Shift-Tab to focus on the Account button. Press right and left arrow to navigate Start menu folders and Power Options. Taskbar settings customize taskbar and notification area or system tray applications. To open taskbar settings, open the Start menu. Search for and activate Taskbar settings. The Taskbar settings interface opens. Taskbar settings open in the Windows Settings window. The window has a Search Edit box at the top left. Beneath the Search Edit box are a series of settings property sheets. Taskbar settings are on the right side of the Settings window. Press Tab and Shift-Tab to navigate controls. Press Tab until focus is on the Show All Settings button. Read the focus control with NVDA, NVDA tab. If the button is collapsed, press spacebar to expand taskbar settings. The following controls are enabled when the Show All Settings button is expanded. Search. This option configures whether a search box is displayed on the left side of the Windows taskbar. This is a combo box. Press up and down arrow to select an option. Choose from Hide, Search Icon Only, Search Icon and Label, Search Box. Press Tab to move to the next control. Task View. This is a button. The Task View button is displayed on the left side of the taskbar. Press spacebar to toggle buttons. Widgets. This is a button. A Windows Widget button is displayed on the left side of the taskbar. When the Widgets button is activated, Windows Widgets are displayed on the left side of the window. Press spacebar to toggle buttons. Chat. This is a button. A Teams button is on the left side of the taskbar. Press spacebar to toggle buttons. The next control is a System Tray Icons Grouping button. Read the focus control. To configure these settings, this button should be expanded. These controls configure the notification area or system tray icons. Configure the following. Pen menu. This is a button. This option is for those who use a pen with Windows 11. A pen menu is displayed in the notification area or system tray. Press spacebar to toggle this button on and off. Touch keyboard icon. This is a combo box. Press up and down arrow to select when the touch keyboard icon is displayed in the system tray. Choose from Always, When no keyboard attached, or Never. After selecting an option, press Tab to move to the next control. Virtual Touchpad. This is a button. Place a virtual touchpad in the system tray. When this button is activated, a touchpad is placed on the display. Low vision and sighted users can use the touchpad in the same way they'd use a physical touchpad. Press spacebar to toggle this button on and off. Other system tray icons. This is a button that expands or collapses additional system tray icon options. Read the focus control to verify its state. To configure these options, this button should be expanded. If you enabled other system tray icons, configure the following. Hidden Icon Menu. This is a button. This is the menu that displays applications running in the background and those configured to run from the notification area or system tray. Press spacebar to toggle this button. I recommend displaying the Hidden Icon menu, as your screen reader can be configured to run from the system tray and is displayed in this menu. Additional applications are listed. Each application is associated with an on-off button. Press up and down arrow to review application names. Press Tab to focus on the application button. Press spacebar to toggle the buttons. Press up and down arrow to continue reviewing available applications. Select and turn on the applications you want displayed in the notification area. Options may include Microsoft Office applications, Windows Update status, your screen reader, and more. Press Tab until focus is on the Taskbar Behaviors button. Read the focus control with NVDA, NVDA tab. If the button is collapsed, press spacebar to expand these settings. If the button is expanded, press Tab to configure additional taskbar settings. The controls include Taskbar alignment. This is a combo box. Press up and down arrow to select an option. Press Tab to move to the next control. Choose from left. Taskbar buttons are aligned to the left side of the window. Center. Taskbar buttons are aligned to the center of the window. The remaining options are checkboxes. Press spacebar to toggle checkboxes on and off. Automatically hide the taskbar. Hide the taskbar unless focus is moved to the element. Focus on the taskbar by moving the mouse to the bottom of the screen or pressing Windows key T, Tango. This option is nice for low vision and sighted users who want more room for documents on their display. Press spacebar to toggle the checkbox. Show badges on taskbar. When this option is enabled, small badges appear on taskbar application buttons when new content arrives, such as mail, Facebook Messenger, Discord, etc. Press spacebar to toggle this button on and off. Show flashing on taskbar apps. Taskbar buttons will flash when an application has pending messages or alert boxes. Press spacebar to toggle the checkbox. Share any window from my taskbar. When in a Microsoft Teams meeting, taskbar buttons have split buttons that shares the window with Teams participants. Press spacebar to toggle the checkbox. Select the far corner of the taskbar to show the desktop. When this button is on, mouse users can click on the bottom right corner of the display to show the Windows desktop. Click a second time to return to the last open application. Press spacebar to toggle the checkbox. After configuring taskbar settings, press Alt F4 to close the settings window. Your taskbar is configured and ready for use. So far in this course, we've discussed the Start menu, taskbar, notification area or system tray, and desktop. Throughout these lessons, you've learned some NVDA commands and basic Windows concepts and controls. To test your skill, visit www.CathyAnne.com for your first test. After answering the questions, review the answers to see how you did. Please share your experience in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. I'm CathyAnne. A recording transcript is available at www.CathyAnne.com. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time. Thanks, George.